Welcome to the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. It's time for one of our member spotlights, and today we feature a member that's not only been a long-time member of the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce, they are a very long-time member of the entire Arlington community, Candlelight Inn. Darrell Wood's my guest today, representing Candlelight Inn. Darrell, welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you're at Candlelight Inn. I see you doing everything. I don't know what your title is. I see you busting tables. I see you mopping. I see you serving food. I see you greeting people.
Well, my official title is Executive Vice President, but I take the role that's needed at the moment, really. Whether it's expoing or taking an order or busting a table,
whatever it takes to keep
whatever it takes to satisfy the people.
And Candlelight's been doing that a long time. Let's back up. How long has Candlelight Inn, first of all, been in Arlington?
1957.
1957.
It is the oldest restaurant in Arlington, Texas.
Goodness gracious. And then with the group you work with, Alan Pesci and his group, how long has that part been around?
Took about 2 years to remodel it, and because we wanted to put it back to its original glory. So we took a lot of pictures, actually had to order custom chairs because they don't make those chairs anymore. And then we reopened in 2014.
And you kept the jukebox?
Kept the jukebox.
I see those.
There's only a handful of people in the state of Texas that still work on those jukeboxes. So
sure.
When it goes down, it takes some time to get it fixed.
Well, I always smile when I'd love to go there. I see you all the time, but you just smile. If you're a guy like me and lots of people watching today that have been going to Candlelight, maybe since 1957, you always smile when you see those jukeboxes.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
It's great memories. There's a lot of memories in that building.
A whole lot of memories, but everybody, anytime you go, you can make your own memories in that building. It all starts with the menu. Tell us about the menu. What all do you guys serve?
Well, it's that old family-style menu in the sense that we have a little bit of everything. Where if you're in the mood for Mexican or you're in the mood for Italian, a burger, a steak, a salad, tacos, it's a really broad menu. And so I always tell people, if you're sitting around the house and family of 4, 5, 6, and they can't agree to what to eat on, what to eat, and
perfect. Come
see us. We got everything anybody wants.
Well, the other thing you have, and it was a big addition on the redo, you have a beautiful full bar. That has always been there.
Yeah, before the remodel, before the Petch family bought it and remodeled it, we had what was called a service bar. And now we've got a full bar. Any liquor that somebody would want, we would have.
Well, and not just the liquor. I've known people personally that like to sit at that bar to eat, even if they're drinking.
Sure, we've got a number of people that do that.
Sit there.
You're one of them?
But I am one of them. But there's also other options too. Talk about, you have the booths are there. They've been there. That's part of the history. But you have other seating options too. When you remodeled, you put in this big giant room, and I've seen live music there. And I don't know if it's just for live music or what's the purpose of that room.
No, what happened when we remodeled? We added 2,200 square feet of kitchen. And so where the kitchen used to be is now our banquet room. Our banquet room holds 54, but we can expand it out to those booths that run along the jukebox.
Okay.
And so, for instance, we've just had a party of 70 booked for next month. And so we've got that facility. We use it for live music, but we also use it for the holidays are around the corner. There'll be a number of Christmas parties, both company and personal Christmas parties in that room. We also have this small private dining room that can hold either 6 to 8. I always tell people, if it's a business meeting, 6. If it's a family, pull the other 2 chairs up and get 8 in there.
It's beautiful in there.
Yeah,
it has
really nice.
Dark wood all the way around.
Really nice.
Wine over here in the corner. Yeah. It's like a restaurant within a restaurant.
Correct.
In its own right. With the restaurant business, like a lot of businesses in the entire hospitality industry, things have changed here recently because of a variety of things. I'm not going to mention COVID, but I guess I just did.
Sure.
But a lot of things happen with regards to the workforce. A lot of people said, well, I'm going to get into a different industry. And because of that, we read a lot, unfortunately, about the fact that the work pool isn't as deep as it used to be. People are having some trouble getting staff. Are you able to fight through that, or was that good?
We were fighting through it. The good news is, and the blessing for us, is that our kitchen crew is extremely strong. Some of them been there since the 70s.
Wow.
And so, and then we struggle a little bit on front of the house, but there again, the core group we have at the Candlelight is a really strong core. But the labor pool, it's tough to find help from time to time. But we're surviving. And the good news is we've got some long-tenured employers. I mean, our GM, Nikki Kerr, started at the age of 16 as a host and has worked her way up from host to server to bartender, and now she's the general manager. So she's very good, and she's got a great team around her.
That's great. Well, and you mentioned the stability in the kitchen. I'm going to get to your background in a second. But strictly speaking, as a consumer, as a guy that eats out 10 meals a week easily. I am always impressed. I love the food at Candlelight Inn, but I'm always impressed with the consistency. And I know when I go there and I get my little chop steak and my loaded baked potato, it's going to taste amazing every time I go. Doesn't matter if I go at lunch, doesn't matter if I go at dinner, doesn't matter if I go on Saturday, doesn't matter if I go on Tuesday. It's always good. How do you keep that consistency in place? Because it can't be the same people cooking it day in and day out.
No, it goes to the tenure. I mean, the seasoned crew we have in the kitchen. But I will tell you one thing, and this is what I've always stressed to our anybody in the kitchen, is the number one secret is to buy quality. Don't take a shortcut. Because to your point, as many people that are going to touch that product before it gets to the guest, the idea that you can buy an inferior product and make it a superior product when it gets to the guest is just inherently flawed.
No, you could go the other direction.
Yeah, so we have a hard enough time keeping a quality product quality,
sure.
Many people have to touch it. So we're extremely fortunate. We've got a really strong crew in the kitchen that can accomplish the consistency that you talk about.
I would have to think too, a part of that would be the sense of pride that the people in the kitchen and all the different parts, but the pride in working at the oldest restaurant in Arlington and the pride in being there when it came back in the potato. There's got to be a lot of personal pride, and people know that, hey, this thing's got a reputation and I'm not going to be the guy that's going to blow it.
That's very true. That's very true. They care deeply about the restaurant. They care deeply about each other. They all want to succeed together, and we're fortunate to have that.
You know, I know a big part, I'm not going to say a big part, you tell me, a part of your business is you have the great food, but it's not just there. I go to a lot of events in Candlelight Inn. We do events here at the Chamber, catered by Candlelight Inn. Percentage-wise, is the catering a big part of your business, or do I just end up where it is?
It's not a large portion, but it's growing.
Okay.
And it's growing because of some of the partnerships that we've been able to cultivate over the years. You know, we weren't a big catering company, when we reopened.
Mm-hmm.
You just saw that as an avenue, a revenue stream. And so, we do a lot with the Levitt. We do some items with General Motors, obviously the Chamber. We've actually done some offsite weddings. So it's good. And we've done anywhere between 10 all the way up to, we did 600 once. In Texas Music Awards, we did that one. And so there again, when you talk about the crew, we actually have a separate group of people that we call upon.
You have to.
Yeah, because, in fairness, the old cliche, we can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Correct.
So if we have if it's a Friday night catered event, I've got to have a whole new another staff for that, because the other staff's going to be back at the restaurant taking care of that group.
But when it's all said and done, though, it's Candlelight doing it.
Correct.
You have to run into a situation where as hard as it is to believe, some people haven't been to Candlelight, but I would have to bet they've been at an event. Oh my gosh, who did this catering? Candlelight. Is that place on Division? Then you end up turning them into a customer to a catered event?
Absolutely.
And then vice versa.
Correct.
Somebody's having this great lunch, say, hey, my daughter's getting married next month. Could y'all cater it? Yes, we can.
Yeah. So, we do a lot with the Levitt, as I said, and each time we cater with a group, it's important. It's building a relationship, because I don't look at that as ever a one-time event.
Mm-hmm.
Because you build a relationship, you're fair to you're fair to the restaurant, and you're fair to them, then they're going to use you again, and that's the key, building the relationship. So you get more and more catered events with these individuals who, if they're happy, then it's all good.
And then same thing, it all feeds off. Every catered event is a sales opportunity, because
Correct.
Somebody there may want a catered event too. All right, switch gears here just a little bit, because you guys have been in Arlington for a long time, but not just in Arlington, visible in Arlington, out within the community, and it's not just from catering. Talk about your relationship with Mission Arlington. I think it's a pretty good one.
That's something just like everything else. We have a saying at the restaurant. Somebody calls and says, "Hey, I need a favor." And my reply is always, "Okay." The answer is yes. What's the question? And we got a phone call from Jamie Adams saying, "Hey, is there any way you guys could feed the volunteers at Mission Arlington?" This was in November of 2021.
Okay.
And so we said, "Sure, we'd love to." And so we went over there and fed the volunteers, and just like everything else in life, it starts with a phone call, and then next thing you know, Alan's having lunch at the bar, later on that day, and I turned to him, I said, we should be feeding the volunteers at Mission every month. He goes, "Yeah, you should do that." "Yeah, we should do that." What do you think the budget is? And so I gave him a budget, and he said, let's do it once a month. And then it kind of grew from there. We come back from feeding Mission Arlington, and Somebody's there eating with us, a regular, and says, "Where you guys been?" Because they always give us grief if they're there and we're not there.
Right.
And so, where you guys been? We feed Mission Arlington once a month. He goes, "Really?" So I want to do that. Can I be a part of that? And so over time, we probably have 8 sponsors now, and they're not looking for any recognition. They just want to, after what Mission Arlington does for the city of Arlington, it's just another example of other companies and other individuals giving back because they know the importance of Miss Tilly and her role there. And so we've got some sponsors that do it. Hey, I can do it twice a year. I've got other sponsors that say I want to do it every month. I've got other sponsors that said put me down for once a quarter. Other sponsors said, hey, I want to do it every month. And so we're at, I think the last time I checked, obviously 52 weeks in a year, and I think we're missing 2 weeks of sponsors.
And that's I have no doubt you'll fill those up.
Yeah, and because it's important, and it's also extremely rewarding, and to see the work that's going on down there, and it's really truly just fantastic what Miss Tilly and her staff does there. It's amazing. We do it on Tuesdays, and if I miss, I get reprimanded by Miss Tilly.
Nobody wants that.
Where were you last week?
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And then conversely, because I've been to the restaurant floor on Tuesdays, and I asked Darrell, everybody's yes, because I just wanted to say hi. And they said, it's Mission Arlington Day. And that's how I first found out.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Thanks for sharing a little bit.
That's a lot of fun. And it's, obviously the volunteers and people there getting assistance. We don't distinguish. Miss Tilly told us, if you're capable and you don't mind, everybody's a volunteer on Tuesday, so everybody gets a meal. So it goes a little bit deeper than just the volunteers. People that are there getting assistance, we also feed them as well.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
That's just great. Well, as I mentioned more than once, you guys have been members of the Chamber for a long time, and not just members, but active members. I see you at events and everything, but frankly, Candlelight Inn has been a success for a long time, since 1957.
Correct.
Why be a member of the Chamber? I mean, I hope, do you get anything out of the Chamber you feel is useful?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, we're part of the community and the surrounding area. And so, it's a responsibility to be a part of it. And the way I look at it, obviously the networking piece is a slam dunk, but there's so much more benefit with being a Chamber member from the standpoint of information. What's going on in the city? What's going on in Austin? What's the new legislation? Governor Abbott's going to be here, get a chance to listen to him talk, so just these opportunities to get information and be a part of the environment of the city of Arlington and what the Chamber does. It's very important, but we also look at it from a responsibility standpoint. We want to be good community members, and to do that, you have to have involvement, and that involvement through the Chamber is tremendous for us.
Well, it's tremendous for us too, because I like to eat.
Yeah.
And it's always, we do a lot of meetings, and every time I pick out who's catering today, I said, I think I need to go to this meeting.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's a good one too. So is this I want to talk personal about you for a second. I didn't even ask about you. Is this the first time you've ever been in the restaurant business?
No, I started in the restaurant business in 1985 and worked in the corporate world. Ran anywhere between 15 and 225 locations at the peak.
Wow.
And, got to the point to where I was too far away from the guest. You know what I mean? I had a multitude of people working for me. There were so many layers between me and the individual eating the restaurant. So I decided to step away, and I started a consulting business. And I would consult with large corporations on talent assessment, prototype design, labor management systems. And I was spending a lot of time on the road. And my kids were getting to the age to where I needed to be at home more, starting the high school years. And lo and behold, this guy that buys this restaurant, and his kids and my kids go to the same school. And next thing you know, our wives are talking, and Bonnie tells my wife, we bought this restaurant. We don't know anything about the restaurant business. So she mentioned that, Darrell consults. I'm sure he would be more than happy to talk to Alan. So Alan and I traded voicemails and phone calls, and finally, he gave me the plans to the building. I said, let me look them over, and I'll give you some recommendations. So I did that, and then kind of started to do more research about the Candlelight. And finally, I just went down and said, I got an idea. I'm working on 2 projects right now, and I'll be through by the end of April. If you're okay with it, I'll go to work for you and help you get that thing reopened. Didn't know it was going to be a lifetime position. I mean, I don't see myself ever leaving now.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't. I often tell people this, that, I've got the best of both worlds in the sense that I get to develop and cultivate people that work for the Candlelight Inn, but then at the same time, I get to have great relationships with the people that eat in the Candlelight Inn or do business with the Candlelight Inn. So it's the best of both worlds, and I'm not so sure every business has that opportunity.
Sure.
And so it's kind of unique. So I'm having the time of my life, and if everything goes according to plan, I'll keep working for the Petchies until they tell me I can't work anymore.
Well, obviously the Petchies like you being there, but all of us that like to eat there, we like you being there too.
I enjoy being there. It's fun.
And we love you being here at the Chambers. So, well, I appreciate you popping in today. Obviously, you're a very busy man, but thank you for being here. I hope you don't get in trouble for being out of the restaurant here for just a little bit, but we appreciate it. Everything you do, whether it's Mission Arlington, whether it's the Levitt, anything with Candlelight's name on it. If I'm eating the food in the restaurant, it's great. If I'm eating the food at a catered event, it's great as well. And a big part of that, you're too modest to say, but a big part of that is you. So thank you for everything you do for all.
I appreciate that.
Thank
you very much.
All right. Hey, folks, as always, we appreciate you being here too, because as Darrell knows as much as any of us, together we succeed. Take care.